So, hey guys, today we're talking about the Synchro Cup. And because of how the event works, honestly, I feel like a lot of people are going to be struggling because they just don't have Synchro decks. Because, I'm just going to put this out there. When was the last Synchro, well, the good pure Synchro deck, well, a good pure Synchro deck released? Well, thinking. I just don't know. All right. So, for example, if we were to go with Crystron is kind of a Synchro deck, but at the same time, okay, we make Cyber Dragon Nova. That's an XYZ. And then how do we access some of our combo pieces? With a Link one. Oh right, that's a Link monster. Okay, so that's like essentially three different types of summoning here. But yeah, let's real quick just take a look at all of the available loaners. And I'm pretty sure these are going to be significantly worse than just decks you can make yourself. But alright. Wait, thinking. Oh, right. I think the best pure synchro deck that was released recently, probably Centurion. But anyway, continuing on, we have a Speedroid deck. I don't think most people would know how to play this, so don't really have high hopes here. But I mean, looking at the cards, it seems like fairly reasonable. Win the Wind Channeler, I guess. Is this even fine? It's kind of weird. It gives you more access to, I guess, Terra Top specifically, and it might give you Godarla access, I think, right? No, it doesn't. Okay, never mind. This is terrible. Why are we running Godarla then? Yeah, I don't really like the Godarla here. And I dislike the fact that we're also not playing Droll. Because, yeah, but when the Wind Channeler actually needs to discard a Wind monster, so it'd be a little bit better if you did have Droll. Rolling yourself is not great, but yeah. Droll's just a decent card against, I'd say, most Synchro decks. Maybe not like Sword Soul specifically, but because they can do their searches all at the same time. So not great unless you just want to only stop Proto Search, but Protos won't matter with this deck. I mean, it kind of matters because all wind. If you get hard red, actually, technically, Aaron is a wind also, but aside from that, you should be mostly fine because he'll probably be Proto Stickler Dark. So yeah, it seems like fine. I don't remember like how to play Speedroid exactly. For Blackwing, I do know Blackwing though. Let's see. Uh, hard disagree with a few of the choices we have here. Why are we playing Radiant? Once again, why? This does nothing for us except it's like able to be used going second. We might as well be playing Raigeki if we're playing like Radiant. Or like evenly matched or something, right? Well, why Radiant? Yeah, and then we're playing 2 Zephyros, which I think is dumb. There's no reason to go 2 Zephyros, because even if you open like Simoon plus Zephyros, you can still combo from there. Zephyros being in hand is actually not that problematic. You can still combo just fine. Harmattan is honestly just okay. It's not that great, not that bad, it's whatever, but you can definitely cut Harmattan. I think Orochi is great because it lets you make the hot red dragon Arcfiend Abyss, so no real problems with Orochi, and it's also an extra name for Simone. Zonda though. What are we doing with Zonda? This special summons just to Simone? Why would I want to special summon Simone for? What? And then like the ratios, like the extra deck monsters, I think they're mostly fine. We have Joe. Joe is like, eh. Why are we playing 2 Blackwing full armor masters? Seems odd. I'd rather have like a tech choice like Draco Berserker instead. To kind of like play around some things that's a little bit more useful. Shadow Squall. You know what? This card's actually just fine. It's not really a big deal. Twin Shadows feels pretty mandatory though. I personally prefer playing more copies of Whirlwind because like I would prefer that over like a Zephyros because Vata or Sudri plus a Whirlwind is still combo. So it feels like a little bit more consistent. Instead of like if I open, for example, Zephyros plus Vata, I don't think that's nearly as good as like Black Feather Whirlwind plus Vata. I mean, this is still like combo, I guess. Doesn't really change anything. It's not particularly helpful. And of course, playing 2 Zephyros increases the odds of drawing Zephyros, which I really don't like. So just in terms of like this being a Blackwing deck, I'm not like that huge of a fan of this list, but it's like serviceable at least. Are we missing something actually from this? Wait, is this not the one I thought it was? Synchro Summit. It's treated it as a tuner. Yeah, this isn't the Blackwing I thought it was. Why are we playing this card? But we're missing Blackwing cards that would be like really good here. There should be a Blackwing monster that gains attack based on like the Blackwing monsters you have in the graveyard. And then is one other Blackwing monster that is removal. That should be able to remove monsters or spell traps or something like that. Why are we not playing that? Why are we playing Onimaru exactly? Huh? I think it was like Raikiri and Chidori. Why aren't we playing that? Okay. And then here with this list, what? What are we doing with this list exactly? You got a Gamma Seal here. What kind of end board are we trying to put up here exactly? Are we going to have to summon Quarry Gondrax? So I guess the goal of this deck, you're probably trying to go into Quarry Gondrax plus I think Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Changying maybe? That seems like the best we can do here. Or maybe you can throw in an FDA Dondraxer. Well, the thing about this though is there's like a machine lock somewhere which would lock you out of this. You're not locked out of this, so it's mostly just going FA Dondraxer plus Quarry Gondrax, I guess. And then maybe having the Crystron cluster. Alright, I guess. I mean, I still have to adjust my deck because technically, when I built this list in particular, it was like 2 years ago for an entirely different format. So this was built to play against Tearlament straight up. I mean, yeah. Our Bistils, we didn't really have Bistils before, so I had to play like a variation of this without Bistils, I believe. That's what this was built in mind with, and there was still Tearlament when I was building this. Tearlament was like slightly nerfed with consistency hits, but yeah, for the most part still needed these Bistils. So yeah, I mean, this deck was, I think, could use some work still. Weird ratio with 56, but it's mostly just gas and Bestial as kind of interchangeably engine and non-engine for like stuff and things. Yeah, so there was no Chidori in that list, and then there was like Raikiri, which I thought would be in that list. You can target once per turn. You can target your opponent's You can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of other Blackwing monsters you control, destroy them. Not really sure why that's not in the loaner. The reason I don't have it is because it's an ultra. I didn't feel like crafting. So yeah, that's the only reason I don't have this card in the deck. And I have like Chidori instead because still big guy in general. If it comes up, could be useful. And yeah, that's about it for this. Aside from that, I don't actually need to out any towers monsters in this deck because if it comes down to it, like not my favorite option, but we can just loop. Where's he? We can loop Nathung. Every time Nathung is special summoned, it'll burn my opponent for 800. So that might take a while, but if there is a towers on the field, this will eventually win me the duel, probably. So that's something. So yeah, I mean, Synchro Cup. I think the best budget deck you could build probably going to be Blackwing, in my opinion. If you were going to build, I think like the best deck you could, maybe Centurion is fine. Yeah. So Centurion has a lot more consistency. It doesn't run as many kind of like Garnety cards. It's more one card combo heavy rather than like how Blackwing is 2-card combo instead of like being 1-card combo. Like for example, if we have just a Vata that does not combo into anything. If I have like Vata plus Magnemite, that will actually be combo. If I have Vata plus either Shamal or Black Feather Whirlwind, those are also combos that end on things, real things. And that's like, I think, what was that, like 2 interactions? I think it was like Vata effect, sending the Zephyros plus Chinook, and then if we have specifically Shamal, we can trigger Shamal to add back the Chinook, which is an interruption, and then we can bring back the Vata, return the Black Feather Whirlwind with the Zephyros, special summon Zephyros, then we can use these guys to make a Boreas Storm, and then we could go. We have options from this point. I don't remember which was the best, but whatever. We can then go Black Feather Whirlwind to bring back a guy. I think in this case, we were supposed to probably go Dispatter. Yeah. Dispatter, bring back, I think, should be bring back Vata. And then we go Vata plus Zephyros to then make Boreastar. To then send Sharnga. Then we banish the on-field Boreastorm plus the Blackwing Dragon. Then we go ahead and special summon Assault Dragon with its effect, kinda. And then we bring back the banished Boreastorm so we can still trigger the Sharnga that we sent to the graveyard. And then in terms of interruptions, we will have Dispatter effect, Chinook effect, and then the Sharnga effect. Which is like still like moderately scuffed, but that's still 3 decent interruptions, I guess. And also we have Blackwing Assault Dragon. Actually, I kind of forgot about this. Perpetually burning our opponent, and then able to kind of like board wipe our opponent a bit later, which is pretty decent. I think the line, I don't remember how much it changes if we're doing like Black Feather Whirlwind. I guess we can special summon like Chinook to the field and just pass on like full Armor Master with Chinook on field, and also a Sharnga in the graveyard. So it's like a Towers being backed up with Chinook and Sharnga with 2 interactions, which is okay, I guess. If we want to end on that, I'd have to analyze the line again to see if it could do more. But with this specific line, I believe it plays around like nib as well. So lots to think about, I guess. Wait, does it play around nib? Summon 1, 2, 3. This gets summoned back. If you summon the Boreas Storm, it does not play around this actually. Weirdly enough. No, this doesn't play around Nib like at all. Well, yeah, this deck really doesn't play around Nib at all. But Centurion does play really well around Nib if you wanna. You have like pretty decent anti-Nib lines, so that's something, I guess. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. And I mean, explaining the Blackwing lines could take me like all day because yeah, they're not exactly super easy to explain, and there are adjustments you have to make on the fly. If you're going like second, you're not just doing the combo again, and it depends on what your opponent's playing, because you have options like going into Draco Berserker earlier and then just running over your opponent's monsters by battle, and this actually contests like a lot. So for example, I could run over 2 monsters with Draco Berserker, and then if my opponent has an Apollosa, I can go like chain 2 Draco Berserker to Apollosa, so it's not lowering its attack. So I can kind of negate Apollosa that way, for example, if that were to come up. Like run over Baron in defense plus something else. If you try to Apo negate my attack gain, I will banish the Apollosa. Or if you ever try to do anything with Apollosa, really, I'll banish the Apollosa. And if you have like a Warlord Savage, I can run over that also, potentially, with a Draco Berserker, just for example. And if I can't immediately run over them, I can run over them after I run over something else. Or I could even just crash with it after I run over something else. So pretty good to have just in your back pocket, a Draco Berserker, I'd say. I would probably make some adjustments to this deck list now, considering it's been like years since I've adjusted this. Well, it feels like years at least. Has it been years? It might have been years. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.